Good morning. This is my Module 1 response video. It's a little late. I actually created an initial one that for some reason didn't upload correctly, so I actually recreated it, which I'm happy about because it gave me an opportunity to go back and watch the videos again. And I think I realized from this point going onward that, videos are definitely worth a second and third viewing. The way I approached it is I just went through and sort of jotted down initially people's standouts. For Erin, she notated that social norms are constructed. She had the powerful quote, appreciate diversity while working toward dismantling inequality. And she was also concerned with, or stood out to her, the macro, meso, and in micro levels of social identity construction. For me, it was three approaches to social justice, the dimensions of oppression, and again, that identity formation. And for Miss Melvin, she had privilege examples, privilege versus oppression, and detailed features of oppression. For Jasmine, it was identity formation, construction of categories and dimensions of oppression. And Tyler Young talked a little about tokenism. He had a really, really good quote I like. Talked about social diversity is not interchangeable with social inequality. Um, that's a very good thought that I definitely am going to keep in mind moving forward. And here's kind of the way I broke it down. The three standouts for us as a group is the social norms are constructed, the social norm identity or the social identity levels, and then the dimensions of oppression. Aaron, for as far as social norms being constructed, Aaron said that she realized that they're not natural and created. A lot of us we tend to believe that are just say things like that's the way things are, and to realize that social norms and pretty much everything in society, including sex and gender, um, race is constructed is not a thought that people should just take for granted. Most people don't think this way, and that's part of the problem. People think that they're just subscribing to the way things are. Tyler talks about how takes it one step to the macro. He talks about how it's constructed to create social hierarchies. He sort of takes a more political approach to it, and same as me, he believes that social issues stem exclusively from economics. Jasmine states that identities and subgroups are pre-constructed so a person can choose from pre-existing groups. I think that realizing that things are constructed is one thing, but to actually be empowered to realize that even if you don't think you do, you sort of choose the categories and the identities that you fall into is another level to that. So I thought that was a really powerful thought. Things that stuck out to all of us: the social identity levels, dimensions of oppression. I borrowed this slide from my initial video. Um, Courtney she talked about how dad's incomes are a predictor of success. In terms of the dimensions of oppression, we can see how in social institutions such as family, how that sort of reinforces your individual position. And again, in the first video, I did this thing as to where figure eight showing how all these affects the other one. But to realize in terms of not only a dad's income being a predicator to success, in terms of social justice, we take into consideration things as well, such as inherited wealth. And wealth that comes down from a time of landowning slavery and whatnot. And how the culture and the society reinforces that. Um, Erin had an interesting approach. She talked about in identity levels, she talked about how we sort of stay in the micro level, defining ourselves, and how we think about the macro level, how humans are being labeled and whatnot. But she said something about not really thinking about the meso level or understanding the meso level. And that's sort of like the trap to where they get us is that, we are who we are because of society. And what she actually proposed, I'm unaware if she's aware of this, but she actually proposed that in this meso level, if you deconstruct and dismantle this area, that's actually how real change can occur. And the phrase that come to my mind is think globally but act locally. I'm from Hendersonville, so that's a big saying that we have there. Um, let's see. Miss Jasmine discussed loyalty to subgroups, which kind of could be this middle level here. So where she was just discussing how you can change and dismantle this level. Jasmine takes an approach that identities actually come from being loyal to these groups, and from the institutional and social and macro and meso peer pressures to reinforce your daily choices, to the point to where we don't feel like these ideas and issues of identity are in our control. And I think that is a powerful realization when understanding how hierarchies are made and how the social and cultural reinforce those ideas. And I think that's sort of how the mentality of things just being the way they are and we can't change anything, I think, stems from there. But she writes that oppression is a systematic behavior and a way to consolidate the power. So I get from this group that, if we can just dismantle and change it on the on our local level, then we can change ourselves and change society. It's actually, I did not get that the first time around, and I think that's very inspirational. Thank you.